It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I think my guest is texting me, but I can't text her now, so we're just gonna have to carry on. So it's Wednesday. Serenity Night Live, bringing you live about ADHD. I have no idea what I'm saying because I've completely thrown. Do you know what happened? I got a bit sidetracked because I was busy trying to do some videos, and then I saw a friend online, and then I got chatting to them, and then it kind of happened from there. But anyway, we're here now. So welcome to Serenity Night Live, the show where we unpack adult ADHD, one hyperfixation, emotional outburst, doomed to fail calendar system at a time. I'm your host. My name is Shama, in case you didn't know already, but I am a part-time life coach. Well, actually, no. I life coach full-time. I'm a part-time wedding choreographer, but I will overthink, and I am walking proof that even a woman with ADHD and relationship baggage and a phone full of unread messages can talk about marriage with confidence. With confidence. We've got Ali Photographer that wants to be part in this live. Now, I'm telling you now, if you want to be in this live, I have no problem with that, but you've got to be able to speak. So I'm going to put you in. Let's see. Hi. All right, fair enough. That's fine. So let's just wave at everybody. Hi, Salman. Hi, Ali. Nice to see you guys. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, today we're going to be talking about ADHD and marriage. Sorry about the beginning part. That was a little bit weird. When I get a chance to do my shorts, I'm not going to be adding that bit, by the way. So we're going to be talking to Gurjit Rana. And hello. Hi.
Hello. Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine.
You come on live Serenity Coaching. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We are going to be talking about ADHD and marriage. What's your on marriage? Are you married?
No, yeah, I'm married and I'm a professional photographer from Karachi, Pakistan.
Woo! Nice. How long you been married for?
And I got married in 2007.
Wow. So you've been married 18 years.
And a few days back, I think 2 or 3 months back, I follow your ID.
Oh, thank you. Well, welcome. So you've come on the show about marriage. Have you got some questions for our relationship group who's going to join us?
Sorry to say, actually right now I'm busy and there is electricity problem in my house, so I'm little busy.
Oh.
I can't join you.
Oh no, that's
okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Well, that was sweet. You may have to come out of this then, Ali, because I can say, oh, there he is. He's gone. That was really sweet of him. He's been following me, and I think he likes my work. I think that's what he was trying to say. He's been married for 18 years. Mashallah. That's very, very good. Good to know. Who else is online with me? We're still waiting for our wonderful guest who's going to be coming. I think I handled that really well. So if you are watching a live and you want to join, please feel free to do so. Keep your camera on, just like Ali did. He was more than welcome to come in and join the conversation. We are going to be talking about relationships. We are going to be talking about marriage. And I just want to quickly, before we do anything else, I just want to quickly introduce my partner. Tonight, we are going to be joined by none other than the marriage whisperer herself. So grab your partner and grab your emotional support snack, because we're going to be doing a deep dive into marriage. Let's bring her on. Let's bring her on. Where are we? Let's get her on. Let's get her on. Gurjit, are you there? Yay! Woo! Oh my God, you look fabulous.
Hey, how you doing? Can you see me okay?
I can see you fine. You look amazing. I love your hair.
Thank you. It's called washing and blow drying.
But I do. I just literally wash my hair and leave it and hope for the best. All good. So I'm just going to do quickly disclaimers before we get started on this. So like I said, if you are watching this live, feel free to hit join. You are allowed to join us on air and you can ask your questions to our wonderful marriage expert. But you can have your camera on, you can have your camera off. I don't mind about that, but you've got to speak. All right, so make sure you're ready for that. We'd love to hear your perspective on this. So this week's challenge has been inspired by you, Gurjit. So I'm going to give these to my accountability partners. So this is what you've got to do this week, people. You've got to spend 15 minutes uninterrupted, intentional conversations with your partner or someone close to you. That's number one. We can't have any phones, no distractions, just listening and being present. Okay, that's what you've got to do this week. So do that at least every single day and report back to me next week and let me know how you guys got on. If you're going to join the Body Doubly Challenge, we are going to now start our deep dive into the marriage aspect. So while you are doing your chores and you want to get some things done, this is a great time to listen into while you're getting it done, especially if you're an ADHD and you need to body double. So now's your chance. Put away your laundry, go and sort out that drawer of doom. Go. Right. Woo! I'm so excited
Here
about
we
it.
are.
Gurjit Rana, UK based. Tell me if any of this is wrong, but I've done my research on you, okay? So let me know if any of this is wrong, okay? So Gurjit Rana, UK based marriage and relationship coach, helps ambitious couples and women and men reconnect, rebuild communications, and reignite their connections. I love it. So, Gurjit, you know, I'm always going to start off. So tell me about your personal story. What led you into the world of marriage coaching in the first place?
Oh my goodness. For those of you that don't follow me, as Sham's saying, I'm marriage expert, and my story is very simplistic. There's no drama to it in a sense. Is the typical thing that happens to most of us. It's called divorce. The only thing was I was married shy of nearly 3 years. I'm not trying to downplay it here, but you know, most of the challenges came about from misunderstandings, from impatience, from ego, from not knowing any better. You finally get married and you think I want it my way, they think they want it their way, and it becomes a battle of wills, which many of us go through in those early phases and stages of marriage.
Of course.
So
I've done that.
Exactly. And some of us, we can, how to put it, work through it, go from the power struggle or from the, how to put it, honeymoon to the power struggle to continue on. Some of us get locked and stopped there, which is where I was. And some of us just, go, well, that's life now. That's the way it is. And we settle for something that we really didn't really sign up for or hadn't expected. And that's what makes it, you know, certainly sad for long-term marriages that continue to play out from the earlier phases and stages of their marriage.
But I guess it's really difficult as well because, you know, for people in the South Asian community in particular, we've been brought up to make it work. No matter what happens, we've got to make it work. No matter what happens, we've got to make it work. Make it work, make it work, make it work, make it work. You're half dead, but we've still got to make it work, right? But, you know, how can we come out of that narrative and actually stand up? I mean, not even for women, but also for men as well. They might even be with partners that, you know, take advantage of them and maybe don't treat them right, stuff like that. So how can we find that middle ground where we are trying to do everything that we can do to help the marriage grow, but at the same time, we don't want to be flogging a dead horse either?
Exactly. And it comes back to, what's your intention for being married? Why do you want to be married? What's it giving you? What are you giving the marriage? Right? And yes, some people say, but I've had children now and so forth. Some of us are reliant on finance as the convenience. Let's be honest, that's there for a lot of women. It is a challenge. For some people, it's an easy lifestyle. They're able to go off and do other things while one partner holds the fort and takes responsibility of life. So you feel like you've got your own grown-up mother or father in the partner. You know, and there's many other grey areas that we can go into. So people stay together for a number of reasons. And the unfortunate thing that they don't look at is, just like you would grow a business, you would go to the gym. You don't go once and go, well, that's it, I've got muscles now, I'm fit. You would go regularly. And that's the thing we don't do in marriages. We don't empower each other. We don't stay empowered or motivated in our own marriage. We get to status quo. We think we've met someone, had the kids, and that's it. Life's done. And life
Absolutely
is doing.
No, absolutely right.
And so we settle with, you know, kind of the upset, the heartache, not being respected, appreciated for the little things we do. And that starts to build up as either compromise, resentment, bitterness. All of that plays out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. So, I mean, what kind of clients do you typically work with? And what are the patterns that you mostly notice about the relationships that come to you?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I want to say that it's evolved over time. Predominantly, it was women that were married
Interesting.
and women that were coming out of relationships that had to the second, third, whatever time had heartache again,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that happens. As I started working with more women and recognizing that more men were stepping forward, so I had some undercover male clients that used to work with me. I just didn't used to shout about it on my socials. And one of the things that now, the more I stepped into this work has become apparent, men cannot afford to be left behind.
Yeah.
That's why marriages are going to fail, because all of a sudden that gap is starting to increase again, that women are out there doing podcasts, listening to podcasts, reading books, going to events, being in women's circles. And men are dealing with the other spectrum of it, which is the mental health, which is all the stigma associated with it. They're dealing with the negative vibes, they're dealing with toxic marriages. They're also playing out in different ways, and most men suppress it.
Yes.
So you can't afford to leave your partner behind and go, well, I'll get myself sorted and you can stay down there, because then it comes back into superiority again.
Yeah.
So
Again, that male ego comes up though, doesn't it? Because then, like, well, I don't want to be seen to be the weak person, and I don't want to be seen to be the one that has all the problems and things like that. So, I mean,
yeah,
us as women, we have no problem shouting from the rooftop, oh, I need to speak to somebody. I've got friends, I've got family, I've got this, and I'm on the phone and I'm talking to people. We're always constantly communicating, with the exception of a few. But generally,
yeah,
when it comes to women, that we tend to be a bit more aggressive. So, how can we build it in such a way that the men also feel that they can also reach out without judgment?
beautiful. I love that question. And this is the thing, you want to have it that if you're proactive in your marriage. So just to go recap on what you asked me,
Yeah.
I help couples that are at make or break,
Yeah.
and those that want to go from good to greatness.
Brilliant.
Right? Which means you kind of know that there's there. Most of us wait until there is a big problem before you do something about it. In other words, when we hear the D word being threatened upon us, and that's when men then jump into action. And funny enough, they're often the ones that are really open to wanting to make the marriage work. Okay, they've just been doing it on their terms, and because we haven't been given them clear instructions as women, we think we are. We're telling them to get their act together, and then going, well, what is it you want me to do? We tell them what we don't want them to do, but we're not encouraging what we want them to do, because we don't praise them.
Yeah.
Right? Then going back to your current question, which is what can we do to encourage them? Well, firstly, counseling or coaching, whatever you go into therapy, it's not two against one. That's one of the men's biggest fears, right? That there's now going to be two women
Men
against one.
have to be afraid of going to seek help. There's no judgment.
Exactly. So that's the first thing we need to reassure them. Secondly, and this is why one of my programs is unique, that even from the get-go of consultations, I talk to men first before the women, because they've got to be reassured. They can trust me. They know that I've got them. I understand them. And it's my way of absolutely separating and going, actually, what are they really dealing with? Because in front of, there's nothing worse than having a couple sat in front of you that going,
Yeah.
what are we going to achieve? That's what they do at home behind closed doors anyway. So I refuse to be their referee, but I do want to be call it vessel, your communicator, your partner, your facilitator that's going to help you to communicate better. That's what I am there for, without going, it's your fault, it's your fault. We're looking at some real fundamentals of responsibility, impact, and now what do you want to create? Or now what do you want to own? So we go through some simple models that I've got nothing to hide. I share the models with people. I already put them up on my socials, but I can share them with people.
I want to talk about actually. So
yeah.
Carry on. Yeah.
Cool. So going back to, for both the man and the woman, the thing that's always now missing is safety. So if you want to create your partner to go to any form of coaching and counseling, firstly, nothing is wrong. Nobody's broken. You both work. Okay. Everybody is functionally fine,
Yeah.
emotionally, physically, but stop gaslighting each other. Stop putting each other down. When those things are starting to dealt with, and you really are playing that, I want to win and I want my partner to win, or I want my partner to win and I get to win, that's when we know that collaboration is back again.
Powerful couple.
Yeah. versus if it's like, no, I want to win, I want to get my point across, and you hurt me, and that's coming from righteousness. Your partner is never going to be thrilled to join that conversation. Let's be honest.
No, of course not. No, and
You
I
know?
think common misconception that is always, you know, as we say in our language, tu tu me me. It's always about me, you, me versus you. I did this, so you should have done this, and this and that and the other. And then it comes to a point where you just stop asking because it just becomes so difficult to communicate. So, I mean, I've been married for 20 years, and you know, we've had our ups and downs, and you know, it's been such a roller coaster ride. Good roller coaster ride, but a roller coaster ride nevertheless. You never knew when the next twist and turn was going to come. But I guess that's also life as well. We just never know what life is going to throw at us. We have our challenges, but I am particularly interested in a certain formula you keep talking about. Okay.
Haha. Yes.
This so-called relationship reset formula. What's that about?
So I have a framework. It's called values. Okay. And the reset is really inside of those of that framework. So we look at your vision first of all. We look to align you by head and heart and go, actually, what is it that you truly want? What's your vision of love? Because most of us have an outdated version, which is called Hollywood Bollywood, right? Let's be honest. Today the sun's out. You can get your stories on love.
Dancing around the trees and singing a song, no doubt, right?
Yeah. So that we really want to create what is the vision of love that you have with your partner. That's the first thing. The second thing we want to look at is what I call alignment. So it's alignment of head and heart, because often, and this is really key, right? You'll say one thing, but you'll do another. And this is what most of us get annoyed about in our partners. You said this, but you're doing this. How does that show me you love me? Because we judge people on their actions. And sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing that. Yes. So by actually realigning, because the person you married, and forgive me here, you know, you're awfully young. The person you married at 20 is not the same person at 20. Your life and your life stages have changed because of children, because of health, because of work, you know, just different circumstances. So that's the place we go back to. And I go back to that very question I had: why do you want to be married? What does it give you? Yeah, why do you want to be married? Yeah.
I fell in love with my husband.
Yeah.
And I spent the rest of my life with him. And we met by chance, and it was pure coincidence. And I truly believe that he was meant to be in my life, because if I hadn't gone where I went that night and I'd met him there, I probably would never have met him, and he probably wouldn't have been in my life. And I don't know, maybe I'm future tripping here. Maybe I'd have a different life, or maybe it would be different. I don't know. But I've been given. He's a great guy. Yeah. He's a good guy. You know, faults. I have faults. He has faults, but we learn to live alongside them. We've got kids. They point it out all the time, and we just look at each other and just go, okay, well, now we've got our own set of parents. We might as well just go and enjoy ourselves. You know, that's the way it's going to be. Yeah, I guess it's not without its challenges, Georgie. I would be honest. It's not without its challenges, but we.
And this is the thing. No couple is perfect, and there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. So I acknowledge you for being so vulnerable here. And look, it wasn't just a question directed at everyone. That's what I meant. Hypothetical question. What do you want?
Oh, I answered it.
But you answered it. And if those of you that are listening, the other way that you answer is, what do you bring to the table, not what your partner. We all bleep on about, oh my God, my partner does this or doesn't do this. What do you bring to the table? Yeah. Right? And it's when you say, I bring everything, then there's also something wrong.
Yeah.
There's also something wrong, because you're not giving your partner an opportunity to come to the table, because you take care of everything and then you moan about it. So there's lots of different ways that we look at this marriage, right? As some people are listening to this and getting annoyed now by me, what does she know? There'll be some people going, oh, I'm interested. I didn't realize I'm doing that. And
you just said just now resonated with me a little bit, because you're right. For a while, I was doing everything, and I acknowledge the fact that I was doing everything, and that's only because he was working and he needed to go and work abroad and do the things. And I said, listen, you go and do whatever you need to do. I'll handle the kids. I'll handle the house. We'll figure it out. And we figured it out, and we got through it. And now, you know, he's built the life that we always wanted, and I will always respect him for that. And I always, you know, I've always said to him, I am content. I am content, you know, I am content with the way things are. It's good, you know, and I'm okay with that. And I'm proud of him for building us a life that we have. So if he is watching, or you'll probably watch this later, yeah.
You heard it here
But,
first.
right?
You can pay me later.
Let me know, okay? I'm proud of you. Anyway, okay, so what makes your relationship reset formula so different? Because, you know, there's marriage coaches, there's coaches everywhere, there's life coaches coming out of the ceiling, there's marriage coaches, there's relationship experts, there's all sorts of things. What makes this relationship reset formula so different from traditional relationship advice?
So this is where I say I'm not here to, how to put it, reprimand your partner. Right?
Oh no,
I just want to get, well, that might happen, right? If I get tough on the coaching. But it's actually having the partnership work and look at it together. So there's, as I say, I work with you individually. So you deal with your past stuff individually as man and woman, or whatever it is. You get 6 weeks of my time separately. And then I bring you together, because then the emotions have calmed down.
Yep.
And we can start to use this thing again, right? Otherwise, we literally come from here and we're so passionate, which is great, but we're literally, yeah, exactly. So we take you to get a place of whether we look at inner child, whether we look at your own, you know, negative emotions, the big five, from sadness through to guilt. We take care of those. We take care of limiting decisions. You know, sometimes one partner has money blocks and the other one doesn't. And that's a challenge. Then they just come up against that riff. And those are kind of things that we get to delve into, to go, why are you arguing over what you say you're arguing? Mm-hmm. And as I say, most often than not, it's none of those things that we see on the surface, which is kids, money, sex, what else? Trust and communication. They are not the issues. They're the output of what's going on underneath. So I go under the bonnet with the person to go, right, what's really going on for you? What's really going on for you? So when you come together, we have a meaningful conversation. We do in-person workshops. So I did one on Friday with an amazing couple.
That's lovely.
And this is just one of the things that we get to hit. I'm going to share off the communication model that we did. So we were standing facing a fountain, and I said to her, what do you see? Right? Stand shoulder to shoulder. You're both looking at the same thing. Tell me what you see. And she said, no, she said, I see the bubbles. I see the water. I see the flicker of the water. I see there was bulbs inside, like lighting inside the fountain. I see the size of the fountain, the intricacy of the architecture. I asked him, and he went, oh my God, all I see is the bubbles. That was his response, right? And this is the thing. Most of us in the middle of an argument do not check in on our partner of going, where are you coming from? And then she's like got a list of 50 things to throw at you. And he's like only dealing with point one.
Yeah.
Can you get it? And that's where I say that we look at things so differently. And it's, you know, a little exercise to try with your partner. If you've ever been somewhere that you both know is undeniable, write it down. Like, how did you get there? So it could be, I don't know, how you got to, you know, talk about your first date, because you're both there, right? And I've seen this before. When couples come to me, I sometimes get to them to the experts. How did you get here, guys?
Oh,
and again, the female.
Everything about my first date. Oh my God, minute by minute.
There you go. And if you ask your partner, he'll go, went to a restaurant, had some food, chalk to charm, she was this. And you'll be sat there going, did you miss the roses that you gave me? Did you miss the fact that we saw this, you know, musician playing? And it'll be the intricate details, right, that one partner will miss. And that's the first point, to give you some cues that you both are communicating differently, you're absorbing the world differently. So hence why the communication is, no wonder it's doing that, because you've got 7 million bits of communication coming at you at any given time. So that's the first point I'm laying you on.
Guys, you must try that. So, you know, ask your partner about something that's undeniable, maybe like the first date or something like that, where you both can tell each other the stories, and just see how well those stories fit together, and you'd be very surprised. And if you're still confused after that, get in touch with Gucci, is all I'm going to say. Okay, so look, I'm just going to say hello to a few people, because we've had loads of people join. They're coming in and out. So we've got Simply Sal, we've got Ali Photographer, we've got Jenny, we've got D Singh Daman, we've got Suki Kaur. Suki says Satyakal, hello G, hello Shama, Benji. And we've got Ifra. Ifra, I know, is not married, so I think she could really do with this advice. So anything that she's going to learn today is going to be really useful to her. Okay, so that's good. So good for you, Ifra. You're getting some notes in. I could have done with that, before I got married, is all I'm going to say. And those people who are not married, please tune in, because this could be really useful for you when you do get married. All right. So Gurjit, we're going to go into a bit of a deep dive now with the neurodivergent side of things, because
Sure.
obviously I was diagnosed, now we're coming up to about 3 years ago. Has the dynamics of my relationship changed a little bit? I think there's been a little bit more understanding as to why I do what I do and why I get so emotional about certain things. So there's always been that. But there is now a bit of a wider gap as well, because he doesn't get it. And I don't really know how to communicate about it without sounding like I'm totally fixated over it, like everything relates back to it, and I don't want to sound boring, so I've kind of just left it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, apart from the lack of communication, which is obviously there, what are the most common relationship struggles that you have noticed when ADHD has got involved, or has it got involved in your relationships at all?
So I have worked with clients that have had ADHD or something similar, right? And the first thing I get you to do as the person that's being diagnosed with this, I'm going, hang on, let's get you back to being whole and complete. How you relate to you is how others are going to relate to you, right? So the first thing is we take off the labels. It's like I do when you've got issues with mother-in-law. I take off the labels. Get yourself back to being human.
Yeah.
When you can see yourself as being a human being, right, and just that, and that you're relating to another human being, it doesn't matter. There's no labels there, right? Because I get to see you at your soul level, and that person gets to know you at your soul level. But if you keep putting up a label, right, that you're going to keep marching around with this label on, it's going to be very challenging for that person, because it's almost like you're pushing them away, going, well, I am this and you're this. We always keep doing a comparison, right? And that's then very difficult.
Does that also apply to, say, like, you know, I mean, obviously I didn't know I had it before, and obviously it explains a lot. But before I didn't even know I had it, but I always felt in the back that there was something a bit weird. But we never really talked about it, because I am who I am, and he was who he was. And it's only now recently the dynamics have changed. So how do I handle that side of things now?
I would say bring acceptance to you, because I bet you if you asked him, he probably loved you in the same way before as he loves you now. Ask him, has it changed for him? What does it mean to him? How does he feel about it? I know how you will know how you feel about it, right? But it's like when, how do I explain it without it coming across insensitive? But it's like when we.
You can say it. You don't have
okay,
to.
I'm going to use my nephew. He's 4 years old, mild autism. If we go around relating to him as that's what he's got, it's not going to help his growth. No. So the responsibility starts with us. So we relate to him. He's a little genius. He's a little Buddha. Love him lots, and that is it. We create him and create him. Right?
Perfect.
We create people, and this is not just children. We create people the way they are. We create the demonstrative mother-in-law. We create the bad marana. We play into it ourselves, because we give them a character and we give ourselves that character. So hence, by delabeling yourself, you're able to delabel what others will think of you, because often the judgments that are coming back to you is the judgments you have about yourself. Which is why mirror work with me and relationship to self is the first thing I get you to work on, through vision of love, relationship to the values aligning yourself, and then moving on to going, okay, what have I learned? What are the lessons I've not learned or learned through childhood trauma, for want of a better word, which is why we then go off to go, all right, we're going to do a bit of inner child work to get you back to being that kid that was whole, loved, and perfect, or magnificent, as I like to call it. Because before someone told you that you are this, you were that. It's only that you got evidence from something that happened that go, oh, okay, I'll take on this label, then I must be this.
No, that makes sense.
We've all done that. So neurodivergent, look, and I'm not going to claim to be the expert in this is how it works out in a marriage, because as I say, it was quite challenging for one of my clients, recently got married, and then all of a sudden, because they hadn't lived together, being in a traditional way of family in our culture, you know, the husband, like the mother-in-law and sister-in-law were kind of pulling or making fun of her, or belittling her, for want of a better word, of going, she's not fast at cooking, she leaves a lot of mess, da 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 da. And he was going, well, it's this thing that she's got, and it all of a sudden became a illness. yeah, it all of a sudden became, oh, she's got this illness, she'll pass it on to our children and blah, blah, blah. And it really belittled his wife. And she was like, oh my God, I worked so hard to, she'd worked with me so hard on the coaching to go, she is not that label. She's bigger than that. Got promoted, found the love of her life. And then this is how he was relating to her. She was like, not having any of that.
Good for
right?
her.
And I said, people will always be there to knock you down. Let's face it, even regular people or whatever, we will be there to knock you down. And it's up to you to champion yourself, because until you champion you, nobody else is going to champion you. And that was one of the hardest lessons I found, because I'm always looking for that validation from someone else, that I'm the good girl, I'm pretty, all of that. You're waiting for someone else to give you love.
Yeah, that's so honest of you to come out with that. But I guess, you have to lay yourself bare when we're in this industry as coaches and as therapists and things like that. We have to lay ourselves bare. So I really appreciate that. So how have you seen, oh, my cat's decided to make an appearance. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
He's hungry. I did forget him. I'm so sorry, Yuki. Okay, so I mean, look. So in terms of the emotional communication and conflict resolution in marriage, how does neurodivergence impact that? Because for me, I'm an oversharer. I share everything. I tell everybody everything about my life because I've got nothing. A, I've got nothing to hide, and B, I guess I've got a lot to say. So I don't know. And I always find that my husband is a complete opposite of that. And so when I'm trying to communicate with him and I'm trying to talk to him about things, he kind of just listens, but there doesn't seem to be any resolution from that. So is that because I'm just talking at him and I'm not giving him space to talk back at me? Is that what's going on?
There could be a number of things that are going on. So it depends on time, location of your conversation and topic of matter, right? So I always say to couples, are you doing weekly check-ins? Like weekly check-ins where you don't talk about the children, you're not talking about the schedule, you're not talking about the functionalities, but you're interested in each other, like you're dating each other.
So
right?
What kind of thing you ask? Because I haven't dated my husband yet in 20 years.
Well, then do that. Go out and have a date with him and have some fun. Okay. She's like, I'm doing that one. So there you go. So that's the first reaction. That you got to put your dating game back in, right? So that you are, and then it will feel a bit harder. Like the couples that stop doing it, trust me. Like I had one lady that I spoke to on Friday. She goes, "Oh, we've stopped doing that, and we've gone back into that place where we're being ratty with each other because they're not giving themselves that time and attention just to catch up with each other and be with each other." Yeah. Right? So it really does matter. Yeah. Then, are you giving your partner instructions to go, listen, right now I need a hug, or I need you to listen, I need you to resolve, or I just need you to shut up and listen to me. Like you're not giving direct communication, right? And if the ground is not safe, men will not share. So you've also got to be giving that opportunity back. And that's why I said, if you're doing these weekly check-ins of going, hey, how are you? What's on your mind? What are you worried about? Are you creating time to create your next 5 years, your next 20 years? I know a lot of us will get into the busy doing of, we've had the children, and slowly we might come up with a plan of, like you said, somewhere you guys came to an arrangement of, he's abroad, he's living his best life, doing his career, you're doing your thing with the children. Then you come back together and go, hello, who are you? Right?
It's true.
So if you... Go on.
Oh, I was going to say, because it's so true, because then, obviously in that time, I mean, it was a long time where he was working for a company in America, and he spent maybe, I would probably say 70% of the year in America and 30% with me. And every time you went away, come back, and it was almost like I was greeting somebody new. And, it was difficult for the kids as well. But these were sacrifices that we chose to make. And so we thought, okay, we're doing it now, so we might as well just see it through and then see what happens at the end of it. But now I've realized that we're two complete... Actually, while you were talking, I realized that now we're two completely different people. I'm not the same person that he left when he went to America, and he's not the same person who went to America. He's come back with new experiences, new things, maybe a wife in Seattle, who knows?
Oh God,
no, nothing like that. Like we often joke that his job was his second wife, and his second wife was Seattle. So that was the joke behind that. Please don't
I know, or you're probably going to be ringing you going, Tim, what are you telling us?
World, I'm telling you now. Okay, that's cool. So we know this. All right.
But think of it like this, Sham, right? That think back to your all of you. Think back to either a child or yourself. Like you were not between a 5 and a 10-year-old. There's a huge difference, right? That's 5 years.
Yeah.
Between a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old, huge difference.
Huge difference. You're right.
15 to a 21-year-old. So what do you think the difference is between 21 and 30?
Huge.
30 to 50.
Yeah.
Huge. So we forget that because as we're growing, we don't see ourselves growing. But if you're not actually, how do I put it, investing in your marriage or educating yourself, you know, before it used to be acceptable, gone to school, get a job, that's it. You don't need to grow. You don't need to, you know, that's it, job for life. It's not like that anymore. So just as you would take pride in your education or in your career, your home and your family have to be number one priority. Yeah. And we are seeing a sea of change of that, you know. I was at a personal development program, as you know, a couple of weeks back. And
as well.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, 6 years ago when I was in that room, it was like, I can easily tell you, it was 70% women, 30% men. I kid you not, and you might feel differently. The room 2 weeks ago, I think was 60% men,
40% men. Definitely
and a lot more older people. It wasn't even a younger age bracket. It was like 55 plus.
There were a lot of older people there.
You know, but it was fantastic to see so many men, and I tell you their number one gripe, their wife.
Yeah. Yes, I noticed that as well. They wanted to reconnect with their wife. They wanted to recommunicate with their wives, and they wanted to kind of reach out again. And I thought that was so beautiful. Yeah. And the women wanted to have better relationships with their kids.
Yes. So it was just a whole dynamic, a whole cycle of men don't actually want to give up on their marriages. And I think this is the challenge now, that too many women have given up trying to fix the partner. But if they knew they didn't need to fix them and focused on themselves, but encourage their partner, what I go back to the beginning, to empower them and empower self and get back to, we are one team.
Yeah.
What kind of world would we live in now? So that's really what I'm about, is how do we encourage one another that we are one team and we're not fighting against each other, because we all want the same thing. We want love, peace, prosperity, abundance, joy, excitement, fun, adventure.
So, okay. I'm going to do this whole Venus versus Mars thing.
Let's do it.
Do you see the differences in the way relational habits present themselves in women versus men? What do you see?
100%. There is such thing as masculine and feminine energy.
I thought so. I knew it. I knew it. Everyone keeps going, oh, there's no such thing. There is, people. She's telling me.
There is. So here's the top 3 mistakes that most women and men make, but more often women. So we don't date enough. We date after a broken heart, but carry the same baggage across. All right. Right. So which means I haven't dealt with my stuff. I've just gone, oh, that was them, not me. I'll get into another relationship. The third thing we go and do is we carry the masculine energy. Like, I want to get shit done. So you get even more tougher on the next person. So for most women, we bring out more of that masculine energy. Yeah. And then therefore we wonder when we get a bit more of a feminine man, or a man that steps up initially in leadership and then flops, because they're having to act. When you're being with someone, I would encourage you, get to know their friends, get to know their family, spend time with them. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, you're never going to know everything. You're never going to know until you move in with them. And as we say, you're going to keep evolving. Like you said, when you think you've understood your partner, oh, there's another gap again.
Exactly that. Wow. So maybe if we can come up with a few routines and some simple rituals that couples can do daily. I know I put out that challenge, you know, talk to your partner 15 minutes every day without any judgment, without just to reconnect, to rebuild. What other simple routines and rituals could we do daily that would help us reconnect with our partners? Or
gratitude. Gratitude is the biggest muscle there is. Like, and I know you just went, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And that's the thing.
All the time.
once you start showing appreciation for your partner, thank you for doing this. I know it seems like BS, like, oh, but they should do that anyway. That's their marriage, that's their duty. No,
No,
acknowledge them, because a lot of people don't do that every single day.
you're right.
They don't put food on the table. They don't show up for the children. They don't help you out with the kids and drop off. They don't help around with chores at home or cooking.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's one couple that I coached, and she said when he cooked for this whole week, right, she goes, it really did make a difference. She goes, she found the time to go to the gym. She found the time to go for a swim. She found the time to do kids' homework, which otherwise would not, she couldn't find that time.
That's amazing.
And she said it really helped her because he works from home, but just having that head start for someone taking care of something. It's not going to happen every day.
Yeah.
But she goes, in that moment, it really makes a difference. If you can do it only once or twice a week, it helps me.
Yeah.
So it's being able to communicate your needs.
I totally agree with that, because when I started my coaching business, I didn't realize how big it was going to actually get. You know, having the live shows and having all the added value stuff, and he didn't realize how big it was going to get. And then when you realize that actually there were some things that I was just not being able to get done, and I was rushed off my feet because I'm trying to get everything done. I'm trying to get the food cooked on time, trying to get the kids to school, trying to get things that, and then, you know, he just said, you know what, one day I'm just going to cook dinner. I will tell you something though, that was the best steak I ever had, right? And I was just like, I was so grateful, so much so I made him cook every week.
Oh, bless. And he probably enjoyed it. Therapeutic.
Yeah, I said, okay. And now my son's getting involved as well. And we've had some issues as well. My relationship with my son, as you know, hasn't been the best. And, you know, yesterday he cooked, he made a Turkish dish. I was so impressed.
Wow.
And I was praising them both. I was just like, you know what, you guys are now going to be cooking because I am loving your food. Thank you so much for making it easy for me, because I really appreciate you guys acknowledging the fact that I'm working so hard. And that they did. And that was really nice of them. So the takeaway I got from what you just said also is that, you know, saying thank you and communicating that thank you and showing that gratitude in an action, and maybe, you know, you help them tidy up, or maybe you just say, you know, do you need any help, or even something simple like that. It's just communication with them, right?
It's communication, but also, and this was more for the guys as well as the women,
okay,
intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom.
Interesting.
It starts way before that.
Yeah, a simple handhold, a simple, you know, something, you know.
It will start somewhere like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I don't mean first thing at wood, if I can say that. It starts when you're waking up, when you're having a hug.
Talking about that.
I know. Censor it. Somebody's asking for instructions.
Yeah, it's all good.
So it's when you're texting each other, when you're having that mid-morning, hey, how's your day going? It is the little things that starts to build the connection. You cannot go from zero to, oh, let's get in there in the evening. That's why a lot of couples have a lot of resentment towards each other, of going, you haven't spoken to me all day and now you want something from me.
No.
You know, show love and appreciation, show gratitude. That is the thing that builds the connection and continues to hold you in play. And if you're,
hey, how you doing?
Exactly. Like, yes, I know so many couples then use texting as the safety to, you know, come back after an argument. Nothing wrong with that if you know your partner very, very well, but sometimes texting can get misconstrued. It gets worse through that because you're just not having a straight conversation. And you can hear it in someone's voice, in the way that they're being with you, the way that they're showing up.
Yeah, it's only because when I'm really, really emotional, I find it really difficult to articulate myself. And so I find it easier to text somebody exactly how I feel and say what I need to say. And that often does open the doors to a conversation, because then I've said it and then I can build on what I've been trying to say all along. But it takes me a while to get to that, because emotionally I'm all over the place and I can't speak when I'm that emotional. And when I do speak, it just sounds petty to me. I'm thinking, why am I even saying this? At the moment the words come out of my mouth, I'm just like, you're so stupid. Why are you saying these things? Why is it coming out?
Well,
why do you sound like a 12-year-old? You know, what is going on? Why can't you be mature about having a mature discussion? You know,
because the way we were taught, when we argue like a 5-year-old. We argue like that teenager still, right? Because we were never shown how to resolve stuff as a kid. So the habit we developed to fighting back as a kid, that's what we do as an adult. We just do it at a different version. Okay. So you're not wrong for thinking that, Sham. Like, why do I sound like a 12-year-old? Because that's how we operate. But one thing you've really opened up actually is, if you listen to this, is do write it down. I know when we're emotional, we can't say it. I get blocked feelings and I walk around as if, can I say it, like I'm constipated. Honestly, I do. I walk around because it's like, it's up here, it's in my body, and I feel like I'm constipated.
Feel it in my throat, and I can.
Yeah.
If I say it, my brain's going to explode.
Yeah, and it's like I'm literally carrying 10 ton. I'm like, how do I just get rid of this dead weight? And I recognize it's up here, it's impacting. I'm ratty to team members, I'm short with family.
Yes.
It's because, and we heard of the phrase of, it's not you, it's someone else, but we're scared to say it. Most of the time we're scared of saying it. So writing it down, give yourselves 24 hours, maybe send it to an amazing coach like Charm and go, I'll read it for you and then I'll bin it. And then by the time you've gone back to it the next 24 hours, you might just be able to calm yourself down and go, actually, I didn't mean half the things I was about to say on there. They are valid at that time. I'm not saying they're not valid. Never want to invalidate someone's feelings.
Yeah,
but you just got to ask yourself, by putting everything out there, how much can you get back? You know? So
the thought. I just want to sit here and listen to you talk. Just carry on.
Thank you.
Me so many things to think about, and so many people are going to bring value in this when they listen to it later. And also I'm going to cut it into shorts, so all of this valuable information will be put up online when I can get round to it eventually. But yeah, we'll be putting up these shorts all the time. So I have got one more thing to ask before we've got, okay, so when I have my guests, we do this quick fire round because I have lots and lots of questions, so I've had to put them into short things. But I've just got one more thing. Somebody asked, what is your top 3 tips for anyone trying to create more calm and cooperation in a neurodiverse relationship?
First of all, own your mistakes. Stop getting them to do something. Own your mistakes. I know, because even though, that's why I said, let go of the label. Take on the responsibility. You've probably hurt your partner, and now you're using this label to slap it up with and going, here's my defense. I'm sorry. I know I sound so mean, don't I?
Oh, you are a meanie. I don't
meanie. Oh, I'm sorry.
I feel attacked. No, I'm joking. All good.
I know. And look, so many people say that, and I've had this even with people that have said, I've got a narcissistic partner, and I turned around and said, really? So what are you? I'm really sorry. I've said that to people because if I do not challenge you, if I do not champion your marriage is dead. If I just go blindly with the narrative you give me, your partner doesn't stand a chance, and you should not be coming to me for coaching.
Yes.
Because I will not take sides. This is my whole point. Yeah. To remain neutral, I will challenge you both. So whenever someone says, I'm X and my partner's Y, I'm like, bring it. Because that's what's not working in the marriage. You're going around getting your people, it's like a hype party. Yeah, my husband's this, my husband's this, and you're going, my wife's this, my wife's that.
I'm like, tell you what, send them to me first, let me give them both a slap, bang their heads together, I'll be like, now you've got no more labels, and then I send them to you. There you go.
There you go. Once you've removed the labels, taken on a bit of responsibility, and it will be there on both sides. Yeah. But it's when the partner keeps dismissing it, that's when you got to choose. I go, listen, this doesn't work. And that's where you honestly need someone else to step in to hold up that mirror.
Yes, Yuki, you will get your food. I promise you. I'm so sorry.
That's
he
okay.
Does that if I haven't fed him, and he's just like, hello, I'm still here. And he'll just keep walking across now. I'm so sorry. You can get down, please. Bless him. He's a beautiful cat. My Bengali. He's my Bengali. And he understands Punjabi. So, okay. Are you ready? Quick round.
Of course I am. Let's do this.
Go to self-care activity.
A day with a book and me.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that. Your date night.
Good food, great company, and just great. That is it. Just doesn't matter where we are. Just great food and great company, great conversation.
I love that. That's my kind of my thing as well. What's the common myth about marriage you love to debunk?
Oh, that it's 50-50. It's 100 people.
100. Thank you. It's not 50-50.
Yeah.
Everyone's got in there all. I totally agree with that. Your coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Actually, it's both. But if I'm passing a Costa or a Starbucks, you'll find me there. If I'm at home, it'll be a cup of chai in the morning. But I would preference nowadays is coffee over tea.
I'm getting slightly addicted to coffee. I've now got a coffee machine in my office, so I don't even have to leave.
Oh my goodness.
And I've got a kettle upstairs in my bedroom, so I don't have to leave my room for that either.
Blue, now that's room service for you.
My husband's like, are you sure you've got enough?
You got a mini fridge
Like,
as
I'm
well, a mini
fine.
bar.
A book that changed your view on relationships.
Oh, there's two. Okay, so here's one for the singletons. Married people can read this one as well. It's called Calling in the One. Okay, and that really sets out. It's like a 49 chapters, and it took us nearly a whole year to read it because there's chapters and there's exercises. Really good if you are wanting to do this with your girlfriends. I did this as a book club with my group of women.
Okay.
Some amazing stuff there for singletons. So that's one highly recommended book. Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. That's another brilliant book. Love Itself by Jay Shetty. So he talks about his 8 rules. That's another great one. I can reel them off now. You go, what have you been reading?
A book, yeah?
A
not,
book. Not the encyclopedia.
Even the top 5, I'm happy with the top 5. But you may have to text me these later because I probably
will do.
Not, and I want to put in the show underneath afterwards.
Do you know the real book that changed my life?
Go on, that's the one I want. The juice.
That's the one, the juicy one. It's probably a really traditional book that everyone's read. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective Managers. Now, you might be thinking, what's that got to do with love? How you set yourself up at work is how you set yourself up at home. But the opening chapter, I always share this with people. I could not read it. It was like I read about 2 pages and there was something that used to scare me about it. Because spoiler alert, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. The opening chapter talks about you walking into a church with a coffin there in front of you, and you recognize some people and you don't recognize some people, and some people are crying and some people are not crying, some people are missing and some people you are there. And it's only as you get closer to the coffin and you realize, oh my goodness, that's me. You're in the coffin. And the book starts off in such a startling way because it actually tells you, what is the legacy you want to leave behind? What do you want to have people saying about you? Who do you want to have there? So if you've got relationships that have fallen out, right? Why would you want them there at your funeral? Like, if you haven't got them in your life here and now. So it really always presented me. And I remember just crying when I read that first chapter because I was going, I don't want this to ever happen to me.
Oh,
it was. So highly.
Now when I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, I can count on my one hand who I want at my funeral.
Yeah. But it's, what do you want people saying about you?
And who I want to hide all the evidence as well. Okay, early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Yeah, same as me.
Yeah.
What word your friends would use to describe you?
Oh, goodness. Clients call me trustworthy. Absolutely, because I maintain confidentiality. I would, my friends, well, look, if you're blimmin' listening, friends, can you please let me know? But I'd love them to, they just know that I'd probably be reliable, loving and reliable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friends describe me as bonkers, but who's judging?
I know, I'm boring, aren't I? Gosh.
Favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Have you ever seen me dance? There's bungalow music on, and that's my kind of cool down sometimes. Don't do it as often as I used to, but when you go to pick up the children, so my niece and nephew at 3:30, we love a good little sing song in the car.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So what's a song that always lifts your spirits? That is my next question, by the way.
Oh, anything romantic, anything that's got a bit of a vibe to it. The Jeet can always please me. The Sanj. Anything a bit of Nana. I can't sing. There you go.
So wait, I hope you're listening. That was an ode to you, my friend.
That was.
One piece of advice you would give your younger self, knowing what you know now. Oh, can you hear me? Are you still here? Hello? Oh no.
Somebody was just trying to call me, so I'm here. Here.
Ignore them.
Ignore them. Exactly.
We need your advice for your younger self. What would it be?
Trust yourself. So many of us don't trust ourselves, and that was probably the hardest thing. Trust the process, trust yourself, it'll be okay. What would you say to your younger self?
Probably the same thing, that, you know what, you'll be all right. Trust yourself, you will be okay. Knowing what I know now, I know it'll probably be a lot scarier than you thought it was going to be, but okay, you will land on your feet. But that's something I say to my children, that it doesn't matter what happens now. I know for a fact that they will always land on their feet. Why? Because I brought them up to be bloody stubborn, right? They're not sheeple. They know their own mind. I know that they're going to land on their feet. So I'm so happy that I'm able to provide that space for them. Gurji, you know, I have so many, I'm sure there's loads of people that have so many more questions, so they're going to have to come to you directly. Yeah. But for me, it's just been an absolute honor. I have enjoyed every single minute, and I've come so much, and I feel that actually I might just go and say hello to my husband. He's just gone out. Hello. Come home before I say hello to him. I'll be like, hello, and he'll be like,
Oh.
Before you go, and before I actually do let you go, do you have anything that, actually, no, I wanted to ask you, what's next for you now? What's in the pipeline for you? What's going on?
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to share it. Do you know what? I never share this kind of stuff. So I am on a leadership program, and every 13 weeks I unfold it. So I've just started my next quarter on it, and I'm looking at love and unity everywhere. That's a little project that I'm creating, and I want people to speak their truth. I want them to listen generously, which is what you've been doing. So I really, really appreciate that. I want people to powerfully create love and life. That is my aspiration, like everywhere in the world, that people are heard, seen, understood, and totally can create their life. Because look, a lot of us, and I'm going to put my hand up to this, I only ever got an aspiration that said, go to university, get a degree of something, get a job of something, and then get married.
Yeah, that was it. That was our parameters. That's all we ever thought.
Exactly.
Life was mapped out for us.
Right. And whilst that was a great blueprint, parents, thank you very much. Yes, I made it to uni. Yes, I got a great job, corporate one. And then, life took a different direction for me. And what I got was I was relying on somebody else's blueprint to live my life. And I don't take ownership for my life, because it was like, oh, it's not my fault I'm not married. Oh, it's not my fault, it's my partner's fault. And actually now I'm learning to create my own life and my own destiny. So if there's somebody out there that can support me, we are looking to create a team of 6 people, that we're up to big things, that we want to get somewhere, make a difference to one of the UN goals, which is around gender equality. It could be around education, and it can be around well-being. That's what I'm up to next. I want to see how, through marriage expert and coaching, we can give back to community and make a bigger impact and make a bigger imprint. So yes, at some point, I'd hope that you're going to see me on more platforms, more stages, and really taking on something.
You are fabulous, Gurji. And listen, people, if you're listening and you're interested in the message, please feel free to get in touch with Gurji. Say you're interested, you want to get onto this forum with her, and you guys are going to do great things. I guess the lesson of the day that I've taken away is that love might be patient, but ADHD definitely isn't. But with a bit of structure and a lot of communication, and maybe somebody like yourself in my corner, or both of our corners actually, because obviously you do not just take sides, we can turn distractions into connections. So whether you're married, you're dating, or you're romantically entangled with a pile of laundry, just try showing up for your people. Yeah, yourself, even just whatever it takes, just show up, okay? And hey, if all else fails, blame it on the executive dysfunction, because that's what I do.
Oh, bless you.
Only say it with love, okay? So I love you all. I love you, Gurji. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And that's it. Time is up.
Yay.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm loving this right now. Thank you so much. I'm so buzzing. I'm going to go. Speak to you later.
Speak to you later. Bye. Thanks. Bye.